What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Club 50 Sports. It is your man, A Dub. I'm here with my boy, Manny C. We've got a lot of good content that we're going to talk about, a lot of interesting topics. Manny, talk to the people. What's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Happy holidays. Happy holidays. We are about to end the year, and we are going to bring you guys today a pretty good show, some pretty good content. I wish everybody is having a great holidays. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, as we're gonna be here every single week, man, giving you guys some good contents. You know, me and A Dub right there. A Dub, what we got today going on, man? What will be our first topic, man?
Let's go. Y'all
Let's
see
get
it
it
at the
going.
very bottom. Let's go ahead. We're going to talk about the hometown team, the homer teams, and that is the Miami Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys visited Hard Rock Stadium. It was a toe to toe matchup. It went back and forth throughout the game, came down to the wire. The Dolphins were able to edge out my Cowboys with a late field goal by Jason Sanders. What were your thoughts on it? Did either team make a statement for you in this game? Did either team move further away from the pack?
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. One thing for sure, I think McCarthy owes Jerry Jones an apology because he ran out Kellen Moore, out of Dallas, and he said, "I'm gonna run the ball. I'm gonna run the ball." And the last time I checked, the Cowboys have rushed for 100 yards, 100 missed yards, one time this season, and that was in week 3. Week 3, man. I mean, you didn't like that Kellen Moore was not run-oriented team when he was at the helm, but yet you told Jerry something else. You told, "I'm going to run the ball. I'm going to run," and you couldn't run the ball. Pollard was nowhere to be found. Then they never got that running game going. I'm here thinking, man, they got down to the 1 yard line on the first possession. I'm like, oh, it might be a high scoring game. Next thing you know, that guy fumbles. Okay, so let's keep it going. Another thing that really killed me was the Michael Parsons having a backup tackle, right tackle. He didn't kill him because we were at one point in our own 3 yard line in the first quarter. And I'm here thinking, yo, Michael Parsons is gonna come and destroy Tua. I'm here thinking. And next thing you know, Tua flows it out there for like a 50-yard gain to Jalen Waddle. I'm like, But one thing that I'm gonna give Mike McDaniel's credit is that he got the running game going all night. He didn't quit. He kept pounding and pounding and pounding. Big Fangio made a lot of some pretty good adjustments. I thought that they were gonna have Jalen Waddle shadow him the whole game. I mean Jalen Ramsey shadow CeeDee Lamb the whole game because that Lamb went off like in the first quarter. He had like 95 yards receiving. I'm like, oh,
Correct.
this might be like that CeeDee Lamb game. Well, like I'm here thinking, Fangio does his thing. He they play zone. I think Fangio, for some reason, he plays zone the whole game.
Yeah, he prefers to go
He
zone.
prefers like the zone action. So I think that defense tying up, and next thing you know, Mike McDaniel that was the thing that we ran the ball. Dolphins ran the ball here and there. Tua made some throws. He did get the Dolphins tight ends going because Mike McDaniels he loves to use that the tight ends to only block. I'm like, dude, that tight ends also need to catch a couple of balls here and there. Give them some
Correct.
playing time. Give them
Especially
playing
in
time.
today's game.
Yeah, give them playing time. I'm happy at the fact that happened. But like the thing is, going back to like the trade deadline, I would have loved for the Cowboys to go and get a guy like Derrick Henry. Whenever you need 1 or 2 yards to pound it in there, he would have been great for that offense. Tony Pollard for me, he's not in. I don't think he's an okay guy. He's an okay running back. He ain't a world beater, but I think they could have done better. If Zeke Elliott on that first possession would have been playing, he would have scored like that touchdown, in my opinion, because he's a powerful runner. He's a power guy. But Tony Pollard, nothing. They didn't get 38 yards on 12 carries. I'm like, that ain't gonna get the job done. Michael Parsons, half a sack. I thought, me personally, when I heard that they were gonna have a backup left tackle, right tackle, I'm here thinking he's gonna crush Tua. Tua will leave the game that day. He had a half a sack and was not disruptive. Like, what do you say to that?
I'll agree with that. They did scheme on Micah quite well. There was a good amount of double teams. They made sure that they got guys on him. They always knew where he was at. So that was big time for them. I will say this with regards to Tony Pollard and Mike McCarthy rushing the ball, there is an issue there. There's clearly an issue at this point, just due to the fact that um, Tony Pollard's not able to grind out those tough yardage. You're talking about Derrick Henry. In all honesty, I would have taken a guy like Leonard Fournette, who was just out there a couple of weeks ago and Buffalo picked him up. Why Leonard Fournette is not on a roster
It's very weird.
whenever he wants to be on the roster, I have no idea why he is not rostered every single on every single year. If this man says that he wants to play football, Leonard Fournette should have a team to go play football for. Point blank, period. This guy has shown that he can do it. He can win. He can help win championships. He can get you those tough yards. He's a great catcher. Let's not say great catcher, but he's a good catcher out of the backfield. Dolphins were able to outlast the Cowboys in this one. I am also surprised that they were able to do that with the depleted offensive line that they have and with how great and brilliant Micah Parsons is. But the Dallas Cowboys definitely need a bell cow, and they don't have that right now. Even with Ezekiel, if he was still there, that would help balance the running game. Even though he was only getting 3 or 4 yards a clip, you're getting 3 or 4 yards a clip. It's not easy to drive that amount of weight and that amount of power backwards. With Tony Pollard, he's just trying to shake you all the time. He's trying to get past you, and you're going to run into issues when it comes to that. It's unbalanced. I do like the offense better than last year. I will say that, but the running game definitely needs some tweaks. Hats off to the Dolphins, though. You know, I mean, it was a great game played by them. Way to go for Tua coming back. You know, leading the game-winning drive. That's what everybody expects him to do, and that's what he was able to do this game. And that's all I got on it. You know, what I mean, like I said, real good game all the way down to the end. It's what I expected it to be.
Yeah, it was a tight game. I mean, I thought that the only thing that I really thought it was that the Michael Parsons was going to have at least like 3 or 4 sacks, and thankfully he didn't become disruptive. Thank God for that.
You thought that Tua was going to be taken off on a stretcher by
That's what
number
I
11.
thought. That's what I thought. To be honest with you, but I mean, yeah, that's what I thought. But thankfully, he's still alive here and with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So up next, we've got the putrid Kansas City Chiefs. They are going through some struggles. They get raided by Las Vegas and lose 20-14. It was a close game, but it was really ugly on the Kansas City side of the ball. And they lost this game at the stadium that everybody expected the AFC to go through. They lost this game at Arrowhead Stadium. The question is, can this Chiefs team, if they even make the playoffs, because right now, this is maybe the Broncos might leapfrog them. Can the Chiefs win a playoff game on the road with the way they look right now?
No, no. I think if they have to go to either Baltimore, even here in Miami, if they have to come to Miami, if they gotta go, yeah, Miami, Baltimore. The only team that I said that they could probably be is a team like let's say from the AFC South.
Maybe
They
like
could
a maybe like a Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's breaking down. Trevor Lawrence has had a very not good season. Now, I expected more from a number one overall pick, and his production has been very mediocre at best this season. That's the only team that I think that Chiefs can be in the playoffs. But if they have to come down to Hard Rock, I think the Dolphins will have more players active because I mean they're very injury depleted. So they have like some old linemen that are going to come back. They got Javon Harlan who will be coming back next week. I don't see it happening. In Baltimore, let's not even go there. Baltimore, nah,
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Um,
Or yeah,
the way Kansas City is looking right now, it's bad. It's
their
bad.
offense, Andy Reid trying to recreate something that is not there. I mean, that end around was poor, and no, and then Mahomes makes a very bad read, throws it, and it's they cannot get open at him. Like those receivers cannot get open. You cannot scheme them open at them. They cannot get open, and you cannot scheme them open. Like it sucks. Like they're not the team.
It's that bad. It's that bad. And Travis Kelsey's paying the price right now. People are kind of down on Travis Kelsey, but the truth is, every team is putting him in the Bermuda Triangle. Ever since Buffalo did it, they are putting him in the Bermuda Triangle. They have a safety over the top. They have a linebacker underneath. They don't trust that these guys can beat them at all. You remember how Ricardo told me at Braddock, leave that fool alone? They don't even believe in these guys. They don't believe these guys can beat them. They don't. They're like, yo, we're going to do single coverage and let them drop the ball.
Alan, what I always told you, DCs, that's why they all make good money. Because you are supposed to figure out the opponent. It's not hard. Me and you can do it. Me and you can figure out the Chiefs. Be like, you know what? Let's double team Kelsey. Let's make somebody else beat us. Let's just get lucky. And make somebody else beat us.
And none of those guys can.
7 weeks, Adam. 7 weeks they have been under 20 points. A Andy Reid offense under 20 points for 7 straight weeks. 7 straight weeks. Horrendously bad.
They got beat by a quarterback who had 48 yards passing, 62 total yards. That's crazy.
48 total passes, man. I know quarterbacks that can get that in 1 quarter. 1 quarter of play.
Off of a pass.
And this guy did it in 4 quarters.
And still won.
So the only thing that they did was run the ball. They had 145 yards rushing. Mr. White. 145 yards rushing. That he was the offense. No, and the Chiefs couldn't do anything.
Well, let's take that back. The offense was that Oakland defense.
Yeah,
who took 2 turnovers back to the house for a 17-7 lead. And that was back to back in 7 seconds. Back to back plays, 14 points on the board. And when your offense is looking as bad as Kansas City's is, you cannot afford that. You cannot afford to fall behind. But I agree with you on that. Right now, this team going into a wild playoff atmosphere, regardless of where it is. If it's in the Hard Rock, if it's up in Orchard Park, wherever it is. Even if the Bills were to win the AFC East, they can't go up there and win. If the Dolphins were to win, they can't come down here and win. Baltimore, like you said, let's not even talk about it. It's not looking great. AFC South, that would be their only route to getting to the divisional round. AFC South.
AFC 100% out. AFC South.
That would be their only route to.
Because let me tell you that division is about to be a toss-up because the Colts are winning these days. They're winning.
Yep.
And Jacksonville is collapsing. The Colts are trending. These people are collapsing. I don't know.
And they're doing that without Anthony Richardson. So
without the rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Who looks pretty good, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, ultimately we'll get off this topic just because Kansas City doesn't deserve very much of our attention, at least not these days. So we'll carry on and move on to the next topic, which is our friend, a guy who we watched in our younger days and we loved. Mr. Randy Moss had some pretty bold comments, and his comments, I'm gonna I'm gonna just go ahead and read them for anybody who hasn't heard what Randy Moss said. Randy Moss said, and I quote, "Hands down, I consider myself as the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game. It wasn't a shot at Jerry. I still have respect and love for Jerry, but I just thought the way I changed the game of football." He said this on Kevin Hart's um, Cold as Balls podcast or what have you that Kevin Hart has. What are your thoughts on what Randy Moss said? Is he the greatest wide receiver to ever play this game?
Not, not really. Not really. I remember a quote that he said, "I play whenever I want to play." See, I will never forget about that, Randy. I take notes and I remember things. But I'm going to tell you some stats that I came across with, and I'm going to try to compare him to Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice had 7,000 more yards than him receiving yards. 7,000. He had 50 more touchdowns, 600 more catches, 600 more catches, seven more Pro Bowls, six six more All Pro teams, six more. And let's go here. His last season in the NFL, Jerry Rice had 1,200 yards receiving. He was in his 40s already. For me, Jerry Rice belongs in Mount Rushmore with Tom Brady as like the greatest NFL players to ever live. That's where Jerry Rice belongs. He's very far away from other receivers. Very far away. Look at his stats: 50 more touchdowns and 600 more catches. 600 more catches, dude. This is outstandingly numbers here. He gets crushed on every scenario here against Jerry Rice. Crushed. He just gets crushed.
Let,
No, he's
let,
a better
let,
receiver.
let,
I'm so
let me
sorry.
let me just say this. I'll add to those stats. Jerry Rice could have retired in 1999 and still had more catches and more receiving yards than Randy Moss. He could have retired. He retired in 2004. He could have retired 5 years earlier and still had more yards and more receptions than Randy Moss. He would have had to retire a couple of years later. He would have had to retire in like 2000 or 2001 to have more touchdowns because Randy Moss did score at a higher clip. But let's just put this to bed. And I'm going to put this to bed just because we don't need stats for it. And I'll tell you how. Randy Moss, you are not the best wide receiver of all time because nobody says you are. Because nobody says you are. Point blank, period. Nobody says you are. We can sit there and we can throw out stats all the time. But the fact of the matter is, I've never seen the greatest of all time say that they're the greatest of all time. Have you ever heard Jerry Rice say that?
Never.
No. You know why? Because we all say it for him. Why does he have to repeat what everybody else already knows and says? When you're the greatest of all time, guess what? You don't have to say it. We'll say it for you. We'll say it for you. Tom Brady doesn't need to say he's the greatest of all time. You'll never hear Tom Brady say he's the greatest of all time. You know why? Because we all say it for him. That's just the way it works. Anytime you have to come out and say or beat your chest about what you did and how you're better than somebody else and nobody else is saying that, it's all lies. I've got a whole bunch of stats here as well, Manny. I've got three Super Bowl victories, one Super Bowl MVP, all of that. It doesn't matter. He is not the greatest of all time because nobody else outside of Randy Moss believes that to be true. Everybody else you talk about when it comes to wide receivers, they say Jerry Rice. And everybody else is right.
It all starts with Jerry Rice and it all ends with Jerry Rice. Point blank.
Everybody,
That's it.
everybody's
That's where
right.
the story ends.
Everybody's right.
I got Jerry Rice. I got Jerry Rice probably top five in my list, maybe top three. NFL players overall position. I'm talking about overall position. One day we are gonna get to that topic here in our Top 50 Sports. We'll get there.
Nobody, again, Randy Moss, You are not the greatest of all time. And I will tell you, it is because nobody else says you are. When other people start saying that you're the greatest of all time, then you won't have to say it yourself. When it comes to his Mount Rushmore, I will give him that. The only person who I will say maybe we could throw in a fifth for is Larry Fitzgerald, because he's second to Jerry Rice in receptions and receiving yards. But his Mount Rushmore of him, T.O., Jerry Rice, and Megatron, Calvin Johnson, I can't knock that too much. That's a really good Mount Rushmore. But I would like to see a fifth go in there. I would like to see my boy Larry Fitzgerald, because the guy never had a quarterback.
Yeah,
Never had.
that's right.
Well, he had
Kurt Warner for a little bit. For a
few years.
bit.
But for the
And mind
most
you,
part,
Kurt Warner was a little bit older already.
correct. But for the most part, he didn't have a lot of touchdowns because that team was not built on really scoring that much. But let's not forget about my man Larry Fitz. He was a great player in his own right. And like I said, we'll put this one to bed. Randy Moss, you are not the greatest of all time because we don't say you are, my friend. We enjoy watching you play, though, and that Moss will always be a thing in all of our hearts. He got Moss. Let's go. But Jerry Rice mossed you. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, 100% for sure.
All right. So right now, the Celtics stand atop the Eastern Conference. They have a 24-6 record, right above the Bucks. Bucks are coming in second to them. The question that the producers had during the producers meeting is, are the Celtics the best team in the Eastern Conference?
Yes, they are.
Okay,
At
I'm gonna stop.
23.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you real quick. Because I don't know why the producers, and just for you guys to know at home, we're the producers. I don't know why the producers decided to ask this question. This question is pointless because the Boston Celtics do not play for Eastern Conference championships. They only raise banners for NBA championships. You know why? Because there's not enough space in their rafters for Eastern Conference championships. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, that question is about to change. And the question is now, are the Celtics the best team in the NBA? Because that's the only thing that matters. It's your time, Manny. Let's go.
They are the best team. I will say they are the best team in the NBA. Running 3-6. I'm gonna tell the audience why. I like to say four deep. I'm gonna tell you four deep why. They got Porzingis, Tatum, and Brown, and Holiday. They can each go and get to 25 points. Let's say, you know what, 20 points each. 20 on any given night. They could all give you 20. And that's what matters. Another thing, you got Derek White, who averages at least like 16, who averages 16.6. Look, listen to this. Porzingis 19.6, Tatum 26.9, Brown 22.6. But we all know that Holiday is more of a defender. But let's not get it twisted. He can get you 20 on any given night. He can get you 20. They just played that the Lakers. The Lakers didn't have no answer for that squad. They didn't have no answer because the buckets were coming from everywhere yesterday for Christmas Day. They were coming from everywhere. They didn't have, and that's the AD had 40. AD had 40 points yesterday. And you would think, yo, if AD comes away with 40 points, the Lakers have a good chance. No, they didn't. Because the Boston Celtics have two on their end this year. Barring a major injury, I think the Celtics are the best team in the NBA today as we stand. Barring a major injury. If one of these guys cats go down, okay, then we could say, okay, you know what? That's out the door. But right now, as we stand, any of these cats, 4 deep, how I like to call them, 4 deep, they can go and get you for 20 points. Easily. 20 points. Easily. I would tell that to anybody on their face right now. Anyone.
Okay. I will say this. The Boston Celtics on paper, and we won't speak on injuries because we don't want to see injuries happen. We want to see we want to see everybody healthy. That's important. for the game. I think that's important for the fans and everybody. We won't speak on that. What we will speak on is on paper, this team looks great. They've won 8 out of the past 10 games. They're on a 3-game winning streak right now. They've won something like 19-3 or 19-4 in the conference. We get all that. We also understand that this is the regular season. And when it comes to being the best team, when it comes to talking about winning the NBA championship, this is what I think that the Celtics lack. They don't have a dog. And Tatum has shown himself to be a really good player come regular season or in the regular season. MVP candidate. We've talked about it multiple years. Hey, this guy can win MVP. This guy can win MVP. He hasn't shown himself to be the dog that he needs to be when it comes to the playoffs. That's what it's going to require. Do I think that the Celtics are the best team on paper? Yes. Do I still believe that they have what it takes? Do I believe that Tatum can be that dog? Jaylen Brown, maybe. I've seen him kind of turn that switch in the playoffs at times where he's got that look in his eye. I've seen Tatum fall back far too many times.
Tatum needs to show me. I hope that this year he gets over the hump. You have a good point there, Adam. You have a good point. Hey, I just hope that Tatum gets over the hump. He needs to fucking get over the hump. He needs to. He needs to.
Until that guy can show that he can turn that switch on and become that guy who, if his team needs 50 on any given night, he can give them 50. I'm not on board with the Celtics. I've seen this show before. I'm walking out the theater. I've seen this show before. When it comes to Porzingis, yes. Again, we won't bring up injuries, but we all understand that has been something that has been lingering above his head, whether or not he can actually make it through an entire season. But all things being the same as they are right now, Tatum is the key to it. You've seen the Joker turn it on. You've seen LeBron turn it on. You've seen Giannis Antetokounmpo when he has to turn it on. That's the way he won an NBA championship. Tatum has to do the same. That's the only way that they're going to be able to raise the only type of banner that they raised in Boston, which is the NBA championship. That's just the way they're going to have to do it.
We're going to see if Tatum becomes a dog this year. No. We're going to see. We're going to find out.
No, yes, it's still very early in the season. And like I said, I know that the guy's capable of it. I know his skill set is capable of it, but it's a mentality. At that point, it's a mentality that has to turn the switch on. And
I would like it if he has that killer instinct, like Dwayne Wade, like Michael Jordan had, and Kobe.
Like,
these people they will snatch the heart out of you. And I don't see it in Tatum like right now. I'm hoping that that this year, like, dude, you have been already for some years already in the NBA, man. It's about the time that you take that next step in the playoff atmosphere, man.
I completely agree. Well, we'll have to see what happens with the young man. I'm rooting for him. You know what I mean? I'm always in the business of seeing, greatness unfold. So he's a great player, and I'd like to see that happen for him. So Zion loses some guaranteed money, man. That's a lot of money he left on the table right here. All because the man could not suit up. All because he couldn't show up to work. All because he was showing up to work less than 40% of the time. This is a problem. It's a problem for the Pelicans, and the Pelicans had a small little clause. They
did not know because me and you were growing up, we always thought that basketball contracts were guaranteed, fully guaranteed till now. Like, I see now for the first time ever in my lifetime, watching basketball for 30 years, like me and you, that there was a little small clause on his contract.
Yep.
It's like you said, 29 games last year. That's what triggered the clause. I'm like, I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, he left some dough, a little dough on the table.
Well, he was only allowed to miss 22 games last year, and the kid missed over 50. So he wasn't even close. He wasn't even close.
He didn't make the cut. He didn't make the cut. He didn't make the cut. And it costed him. It really costed him.
Yeah. So
I don't know what's
now
gonna happen. It sucks for him. It really sucks. Like I always root for the players and not the owners because the owners are filthy rich. They're wealthy people. I root for the player, but it's like you said. Like he need your best part about an athlete is your availability. You need to be available, man, every night to suit up and play. You
you're
gotta be available, and you gotta be available, and it sucks. Yo, it sucks. But you know what? This is your time for you to get in shape, hire a nutritionist, and hit the damn gym. Get yourself in shape to play and get paid.
he lacks a passion for the game. Right
He
now,
really
that's going
does.
to cost him the is now non-guaranteed for the 2025-26, 2026-27, and 2027-28, which means that they can basically cut ties with him with no problem. He's off the books at this point for them after the 24-25 season. I'll say this, just like you said, I'm always going to side with the player when the player's playing. We also state this: your best ability is your availability. So if you're not able to perform, then that's a problem. I will bend it down. I'm going to boil it down to the salt for you. I always side with the fans. You know why? Because we're the ones paying the money. And when we go out to an arena and we don't get to see the players that we went out there to see and that we paid our money to go see, that's a problem. That's a big time problem because not only are we going and we're paying that type of money just to go sit in those seats, we're paying for parking, or we're paying for $15, $20 for a beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not money a lot of average Joes have. We're paying good money to go out there and see the players that we expect to play, and this load management thing is causing a huge problem. And I think the NBA is starting to see that. I think that the teams are starting to see that. I'll never side with the organization, but I do side with the fans on this. And these guys need to play, or we need to dig in their pockets because it's our money that's going towards those tickets on Ticketmaster and StubHub. And if we're going in there and we expect to see Michael Jackson and Tito comes out on stage, we're not going to be happy. Imagine if you go to see Bad Bunny and, you know what I mean, some guy who you don't even know comes out onto the stage and starts singing. You think you want to pay premium price for Bad Bunny and then some
No.
unknown dude comes out there and starts performing? No, that's not what you paid for. I paid, you know what I mean? I paid for Michael Jackson. I paid for Bad Bunny. I paid for, you know, for the marquee player that is expected to be on the court. And when he's sitting on the sideline in civilian clothes, for me, as a fan, as a person who loves to watch the game and has watched this game for over 30 years of my life, that's a problem. I never had that issue growing up. I never had an issue with Michael Jordan just sitting on the sideline. I never saw that.
We never saw that. We never saw that. We always saw Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone, Michael Jordan, Shaq, Kobe. These people were always available to play every single night. Every single night they were going at it. And I guess this will be a topic, for the future to talk about player management. But you know how it is. Everybody, please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. Hit the like button. As you can see, look at me. I don't like right now struggling about player management in the NBA. It's not great, guys. Please subscribe to the channel, as we'll be here every single week to give you guys some good content. Let's
Absolutely.
keep it rolling, Adam.
I side with the fans. Let's make sure that we're giving people their money's worth.
Yeah.
All these guys back in the 90s, they used to go out there with knee braces and things on their
Yeah.
elbow if they had to. So, braces on the elbow, whatever it took for them to go out there and play. So just play, fellas. That's all we're asking you for. So the Ravens, my friend, they went into Santa Clara and they put a whooping on those 49ers. you and I have both had the 49ers at the top of our list for some time over the past few weeks. They've been running, they've been flying high. The Ravens cut the legs from underneath them. So I ask this: did this loss expose chinks in the 49ers' seemingly impenetrable armor? They looked bad last night, Manny. They looked bad.
But I'm gonna tell you what they look bad. Because Kyle Shanahan wants to compete with Lamar Jackson and wants to make he wants to make Brock Purdy as equal as Lamar Jackson. That's not the way it is, dude. It's not the way it is, guys. Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, look at the weapons that this dude has. Just look at the weapons. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Kerry Kittles, and the running back behind them. And then got Gazella as his left tackle. He threw for 4 picks, dude. 4 picks. One in the red zone where he was damn very late on that read. Dude, all the Ravens did was play zone. They play zone the whole night. They're a zone team. Zone defense team. They didn't do nothing in particular to say, oh my God, it's not like Lamar Jackson threw for like 4 touchdowns. Dude, he threw for 2 touchdowns, 2 scores, and 252 yards. The 49ers played a horrible. Another pick that Brock Purdy threw. I'm not sure if they didn't teach him in the P. Willie. You cannot be scrambling and throwing across your body to the middle of the field. That's a big red flag, my friend. Big red flag. And then he threw it in his own territory. So you just gave the Ravens right there the ball. And I saw a lot of missed tackles. A lot of missed tackles that could have been sacks. That they like grab onto to Lamar's jersey, and then he so for something he slips out and gains like 10 or 20 more yards. Were completely sloppy. I think if Kyle Shanahan would have came out and said, CMC, I'm going to give you 25 carries in this game. Forget about Brock Purdy. You're going to be the main focus on this offense. This dude had Adam 103 yards. CMC. 39 of them were in one big game. 39. If you subtract that, it'll be 64 yards. That's pathetic, dude. You didn't control the game. And I think that got an F for me this past week, dude. An F. You need to settle this with CMC. It all starts with your running back and it ends with your quarterback. Period. That's all I have to say, man. And by the way, Raekwon Smith and the Patrick Queen both had great games and their safety, yo. I like their safety. Kyle Hamilton had like 2 picks, yo.
Yeah,
that kid is nice, yo.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton is definitely
he's nice, yo. He's nice.
Yeah, he's a ball.
But Adam, when you play zone, Adam, what I have learned about zone, the windows are gonna. But you better be quick to read it, because if you don't read it on time, like what happened in that throw to the end zone, that window closed. It just closed.
Yeah,
I blame this game on Kyle Shanahan and just Kyle Shanahan. I'm not really sure about Brock Purdy. He made some poor throws, but like I have to give it to Kyle Shanahan. Very poor job. And Matt Pross to the Ravens though. I mean they played it for great. It looks like Lamar Jackson is now the leading MVP front runner for sure. He just left with that. I still think that it should be CMC in my opinion. I think he has a better season.
I will say that I give this to the Baltimore defense. I think that I think that they did try to throw the ball too much, but that's who we said that Purdy is, right? That's who we were talking about giving the MVP to, right? This is the golden boy who was leading the MVP race. All right, so go out there and be an MVP. And what he showed was that when he's on the same field as a former MVP as is Lamar Smith.
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. He's not in the same. He's not that caliber of quarterback. He's not that caliber of quarterback yet. Yes, they did kind of put him in these positions where he was expected to make certain calls, but don't take anything away from this Baltimore defense. They schemed
Yeah.
very well. They confused him. They applied pressure to Brock Purdy. He wasn't back there in the clean pocket by any means. There were hands going up. A couple of those interceptions were were deflections.
Yeah.
So
Tips.
correct. So that pocket was constantly collapsing on them, even with Trent Williams, Godzilla out there. They had no solution to what Baltimore was throwing at them. Brock Purdy had no solution. I will agree with you on this. Um, Christian McCaffrey should have been involved more in that game. Absolutely, without a
Give me a
doubt.
break, man. Give me a break.
You can't put
You
that.
gotta get your All Star going.
Yeah, you can't put that level of, and even if you're not going to do that, then you got to make sure that you get Purdy some easy throws, screen passes, etc. at the beginning of the game to kind of get him into a flow of things. You can't go out there and just try to bite right into the beast, and that's what they tried to do. They tried to bite right into the side of a lion, and they got bit back, and they and they weren't able to recover from that. Brock Purdy looked like he was shook. It looked like his confidence was completely shaken. And without a doubt, I don't think that there's any question in my mind. You say Christian McCaffrey, in all honesty, I say that when it comes down to league MVP, we all understand it's a quarterback's award. We're just going to
Correct.
throw it. The
Yeah.
last
Yeah.
time a running back won it, Adrian Peterson, I believe it was. It
I
might
want to say so. Yes. I want to
it
say so.
might go that far back. It's a quarterback's award. And hands down, the best player on that field last night showed himself to be one Lamar Jackson. He is the front runner, and if they continue to play as they are right now, Lamar Jackson looks like he's locked in. He looks like he's seeing the game at a very slow pace. Like the game is not moving fast for him at all. It's almost like he's playing sandlot football out there, like he's playing pick'em in the backyard. Right
That.
now,
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is in line to win his second MVP, and it will be well deserved because he went out there against a giant last night and he slayed him.
Correct, man. He's playing like he's worth that 260 mil that he just signed this past off season.
Yeah.
He's playing. The one thing for sure, Adam, I'm not saying anything. That guy is a great quarterback. I have him top three on my book. I do. But it's like you said, dude. It's a quarterback, and it's a quarterback award. And if we're gonna go that route, then it has to be Lamar Jackson. The guy can rush the ball. He can pass the ball. He can allure that he could allure pressure from any way that you bring it. Is That's completely 100%, dude. It's 100% correct.
The guy's Houdini back there. He'll literally have a 300-pound man hanging on to him, and he'll spin out of.
And he did just recently.
Yeah,
And
the
he
guy.
spun and he just rushed for like 10, 20 yards.
Yeah,
And he
no,
ran. I'm like, how can you stop this man?
nobody's doing it like he's doing it. It's like he's playing a Madden game right now. That's what it looks like. I will say this: the Ravens look like they are going to be a tough beat. All right, so moving on,
100%.
we're gonna stay in the National Football League. The Rams are looking good right now. They look like they're in mid-season form. They're looking like they're getting into like that playoff kind of moxie where they're walking with a certain level of confidence. First off, does any team want to butt head with these Rams? And the next question is, are the Rams capable of making an NFC Championship appearance? We were talking about them going deep into the playoffs. I'm saying, can they at least be a representative of one of the two teams in the National Football Conference?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. They could be the Cowboys. They could be Philly. Is the 49ers. But they match up well. Don't get me wrong. I think they could use a more experience on defense because they only have Aaron Donald. But I think they could be some teams, man. They have their offense led by Stafford, Cobb, and two rookies, man. Two rookies, Williams and Nakua. They have played exceptionally well. I think they had a very good draft class this year. I think most of their draft class made a team because they got two on defense, and then a couple of them on amazing. It's amazing how their draft class they're all on the field playing. I like it. I like this young team. I think McVay is a great scheme guy. He schemes very well. I think against the New Orleans Saints, that defense didn't have no answer for Sean McVay. No answer. And I think they could keep it going, man. I mean, overall, they're ranked on offense seventh, man. Adam, that's a great feat, man. Ranked seventh on offense and 18th overall on defense. That's not bad, man. This is a playoff team based on these numbers and that record. They are
Uh,
a playoff team.
I'm gonna say that they can beat some teams. I'm not sure whether
Yeah,
or not they will be representing the NFC, one of the teams in the NFC Championship game. I will say this though, they do kind of give me feels of the greatest show on turf a little bit. You know what I mean? They 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 they
yeah,
they kind of give me that. You know, Kyron Williams kind of gives me that Marshall Faulk, that all-purpose guy who can catch out the backfield, runs extremely hard, doesn't waste any steps. He's north and south with it. Of course, Matthew Stafford. We all understand that he's likely a future Hall of Famer. And then you've got two great wide receivers, just like you had with Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce. Um, in those days where they were just lighting up the scoreboard. If they can get to that point, if Sean McVay can dial up a game plan that
yeah,
allows them to light up that scoreboard, they've got a lot of pieces. Not to mention if Higbee can stay healthy, Higbee's
yeah,
a really good tight end. He's a really nice target in the middle of the field there. So I think that the defense is probably what worries me the most. But even back in the day, the defense for the greatest show on turf wasn't the greatest defense in the world either.
no,
So the one thing that they could do was that they could light up the scoreboard. If this team could start putting up 30 points average a game, which I feel like they're fully capable of doing with the talent that they have, um, then yeah, I think that there's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen this year because Aaron Donald is a step slower. We all got to admit that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He's not even in the MVP talks or anything like that, or Defensive Player of the Year talk, which is usually where we're accustomed to seeing him. Um, but yeah, they're going to have to start lighting up the scoreboard, and that's what it's going to take for them to actually, in my mind, be considered a real Super Bowl contender.
Okay, okay.
But
That's
we'll
not
see
bad.
how it goes. You know, anything can happen in the playoffs, my friend. That's why we love them
That's
so much.
why they play the game.
100%.
Our friend Chris Berman always says that's why they play the game.
Absolutely. We're about to approach January right now, and you know what January is in football season. That's
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Show me what you can do.
yeah,
Show me.
yeah. We got one and done in the NFL. There ain't no series here. One and done. You either
And
stand or
done.
you go. You either stand or you going. Yeah, that's it. All right. So what's on your mind? I'm gonna do it this week. My man Manny C usually runs the what's on your mind. I'm gonna speak on two Hall of Fame coaches. One Mr. Bill Belichick, one Mr. Mike Tomlin, and them actually considering possibly starting over in other places. Um, when it comes to me, I don't think they have anything to gain by doing it, to be quite honest with you. I feel like there's so much more to lose than there is to gain by going to a new organization. At this point, they've both had Hall of Fame careers, and to do better than what they've already done in the league at this point is going to be pretty hard. Um, I feel like Bill Belichick, his game is just a little bit, or his thought process is a bit antiquated. I don't think it really works anymore. I think it worked with Tom Brady. Mike Tomlin, he's a leader of men, but you're moving into a whole new different type of organization where you now have to rebuild the culture. See, what Mike Tomlin had, and I'm not taking anything away from his legacy or him being a great Hall of Fame coach, but what he had in the Steelers was a legacy already. You already had guys like Franco Harris walking around the building. You had Lynn Swans walking around the building. There was greatness within within the confines of those facilities. That's something that was already established. You didn't have to do much. Those guys made sure that they held up the culture and that they held up those expectations. I don't see
Yeah.
any good coming from either of these guys going anywhere else. Not to mention, Mike Tomlin would be the first Pittsburgh Steelers head coach to do what? Leave the Pittsburgh Steelers and go and coach for another team. The Pittsburgh Steelers have only had 3 coaches in the history of that great franchise:
Yeah.
Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. And neither of those first two, even though Bill Cowher, I know you remember this, they were trying to get Bill Cowher to go somewhere else, and Bill Cowher was like, So for me, I don't think that. I think those guys should leave their legacies in place. Don't mess with it. I feel like all you can do is tarnish it. And the second thing that I did want to speak about that's on my mind: former players, please stop calling out other former players with regards to you being the best. I'm going back to the Randy Moss thing. There's no place in sports. Leave it alone. Be okay in your own greatness. We don't have to go back and forth between who's better than who. You're not playing anymore. It's no longer your decision, and you don't have any ability to move the needle about what people think about the way that you played. It's over. Your run is over. Admit it. It's at its end. Randy Moss, we bow to you for the great player that you are, but leave it alone. Don't mess with the goat. Don't throw rocks. Don't throw rocks up that tree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it. What you got?
Good stuff, Mr. Wilson. I like that. I like that. I like that. Very good, man. I like that. I like that, man. I totally agree with what you're saying. I
All right.
I, I
So
just think, Adam, right quick, I'm gonna piggyback a little bit on this
no, do it. Do it.
regarding Mike Tomlin at least. I just think that Mike Tomlin needs to go and get himself a innovative offensive mind coach, young offensive mind. Maybe I will give Pickett one more year
Uh,
on the helm. Maybe. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking. And it also, Adam, depends on how the draft is going because you got 4 quarterbacks that are going to come out, which I got here on my list is Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and Michael Penix. I think 3 of these guys are better than three. No, hold on. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, 3 of these guys are better. I think coming out of college are better than Pickett. But again, Adam, you have to see how the draft is going. Maybe you could take a chance. Maybe. If not, if those quarterbacks get taken early, like in the first, let's say 15 pick, because the Steelers are not going to be a top 5 team. Maybe not even a top 10 team. They're going to be like in the teens, 15, 16. The way that like. Would I take a chance on another quarterback? Maybe I would, possibly.
I, I
But
honestly think that quarterback is the problem. That's what I think
yeah,
that the
yeah, no,
receivers
yeah,
are
yeah.
decent.
Me too. But maybe, yeah. I'm gonna say this, man. Maybe Matt Canada was so horrible that he couldn't get the best out of Pickett. Me personally, I think they gotta go a different route because I never saw Pickett in college be great, anyways, or even good, decent, decency. I never saw that in college in Pittsburgh. I never saw that. And in the NFL, I have seen games, multiple games like this year of the Steelers. He didn't want me, man. He just didn't want me. I think they should go a different route. I think hopefully in the draft, maybe they hit on one. Maybe they trade up, they mortgage like the future and go and get like a Drake May, a Bo Nix, a Michael Penix. Caleb Williams will not be there. I don't think he's going to be there for sure.
So,
But I
so,
think they
so
got You got to do also what the Chiefs did, Adam. Patrick Mahomes. They were 27th overall pick that year in 2018, and they trade up to the 10th spot to get Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
It's a gamble.
absolutely.
It's up to you.
Absolutely, but yeah, I think that the quarterback. I think that Pickens is a good wide receiver. I think Deontay Johnson. He drops a lot of balls, but he's pretty good. Freiermuth at the tight end position is pretty good. The defense is not bad. You know what I mean? We're talking about like a top 5 defense. What do you think about Mike Tomlin leaving though? Do you think that that's a good idea for him? Do you think and even
The only place, the only.
And even for Pittsburgh, do you think that it's good? Like, what coach are you going to get to go? Like, what are you going to do?
If there is a team that I will go right now as we speak, are the Chargers, because you have a quarterback there in place. You don't have to draft anyone. You just have to take your scheme as a defense, as a DC, and put it there. Now you have to get younger though. You have to be like the Rams. You gotta hit on some draft picks this upcoming year of the ball. Gotta hit on draft picks. I think the Chargers. I gotta renegotiate Nick Bosa's contract. I mean Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. I need to renegotiate those contracts, or they get cut. You gotta go young now. You gotta go young. That's the only team that I think Mike Tomlin will look good at, because you already got Herbert. Herbert is an up and coming quarterback. That's the only one. That's it.
I think that that's a good move, but I only think he goes if Pittsburgh asks him to leave. I don't think he goes unless Pittsburgh asks him to leave. And me personally, that would be a big mistake, because in all honesty, whoever Pittsburgh is thinking about bringing in there, it would probably be a bad idea. It'll probably be a bad idea. Unless they have somebody who's behind Tomlin right now who they want to move up, which is the way that Pittsburgh typically does. They hire from within. They don't go to like coaches from another tree. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, in my mind, I want to see Mike Tomlin be a Pittsburgh Steeler for life. I want to see him go into the Hall of Fame as a Steeler with those terrible towels, in the crowd.
Yeah.
But I never want to see him in a different type of color. Just my opinion. So we are now to Game Ball of the Week. Who does your Game Ball go?
I want to go with the guy that single-handedly took me out of the fantasy playoffs, out of my fantasy playoffs, Mr. Amari Cooper, man. 165 yards. What a damn day he had. 265, 2 scores. He said, "Manny, I'm gonna take you out the playoffs, out the fantasy playoffs." It's disappointing, but good for him. It's unheard of, like 255 yards. Not every year you have someone that does this damage on a single day in football. I haven't seen it in a long time. But congrats to Amari Cooper for that. I gotta give my game ball to him. That's what about you, Adam?
Hats off to Amari Cooper for sure. My game ball goes to, we just talked about him a little while ago, one Mr. Lamar Jackson. This young man, we're not going to go through the stats again, but what he did going into the Lions' Den, going into the Terror Dome in San Francisco, in Santa Clara, and beating that team the way that they did. That team beat up on Seattle. That team beat up on Dallas. And they went in there.
And the Eagles.
And the Eagles as well. And that team went in there and they made them look like pussycats. The lion has been slayed, and Lamar Jackson looked like it was just another day at the office. I don't even think that he touched the grass, Papa. I didn't see him picking himself up very much unless it was a running play. But when it came to the pocket, not very much was going on back there. The San Francisco 49ers, I think they may have sacked him twice, but In all honesty, he didn't look rattled at all. Look over at the other sideline. Brock Purdy looked like somebody took his lunch
He was
money.
seeing ghosts out there. He was seeing
Yeah,
ghosts out
he got his lunchbox stolen. Uh, but
there.
yeah, kudos to both Amari Cooper and Lamar Jackson. They get the game balls this week. Well done to both of those players. So now I think it's also my week to do the top 5 NFL teams for now. And this is the way it goes for me. Number 5. I know that they just lost to your Dolphins, but I still have them number 5. I got the Cowboys. Number 4, I got the Bills. Number 3, I'm still putting the Dolphins above the Bills. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about this come week 18, but I got the Dolphins above the Bills. I got the 49ers coming in too, and of course we all know who knocked them off the throne. Number 1, you got the Ravens. Ravens coming in at number 1. So Cowboys, Bills, Dolphins, 49ers, and the Ravens. If I was going to do a 6 at this point, it would probably be the surging Rams. If I were to do that right.
So no respect for the Lions. They just won that division.
Yeah, but look at what the division they're in. For Christ's sake, you know what I mean? Like, give me a break. They're going up against the likes of the Vikings, who haven't had their quarterback for the last 5 weeks. Don't get me wrong, the Lions have shown themselves to be a pretty solid team. I don't put them up there with these other guys just due to the fact that they've been up and down throughout the year. When it comes
Okay.
with those teams in that division, they should have a larger lead. But hey, kudos to the Lions. And the good part about it is they just might make your top 5 next week if they go out there and they beat my Cowboys on Saturday. So we're leaving
That's
some
correct.
room. We're leaving some room open for for a little mix up there.
Yeah.
So now, what do we got? We're about to, as we always end off the show with, our picks for the next week. So we got 4 games that we selected. I don't even know how we did last week. I'll catch up with you guys how we've done over the last couple of weeks next week. I didn't get to see what we did last week. But this week we've got the Lions at the Cowboys. Who do you have?
I'm gonna go with the Lions.
Here we
I'm gonna go with the
go.
Lions.
I'm going with
I think Dan Campbell is gonna scheme up some good stuff on defense. You'll see.
Here we go. I'm going with the Cowboys. Here we go.
Okay.
Dolphins and Ravens. This might be a homer pick for you. What's going on? Dolphins
I'm gonna
at
go with Lamar
Ravens.
Jackson, man. Oh my lord, man! I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson, man. I'm sorry, guys, but I gotta go with Lamar Jackson. I guess
As a fan,
our
we all
offense
know.
is so depleted.
As a fan, we know who you're rooting for. But all
But
right,
man, like so much, the roster is very depleted, like right now, and I don't think if the game would have been here in Miami, I would have given the edge a little bit to the Dolphins because they do play very good at home, very good.
all right.
Baltimore and nah.
I'm going with Baltimore as well. We got the Raiders at the Colts. The Raiders who just beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead, and the Colts who are still fighting for playoff position.
I'm gonna go with the Colts. Gotta go. I'm a firm believer in the days. I'm gonna
Okay,
go with the Colts.
I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one. I think that I think that Antonio Pierce has got something there. I think he's got those kids
Cooking.
believing. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Raiders on that one. And then we got the Bengals versus Chiefs. Both of these teams trying to stay alive in that playoff hunt.
I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I cannot trust the Chiefs anymore. Anymore. Going with the Bengals all the way, my friend. Mm-mm.
All right, I'm gonna go Chiefs. I don't think they lose back to back games at home, and I think they'll get it together. I truly do. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go Chiefs there. I trust in that defense, a Burrowless Bengals team, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, once again, as we do every single week, we want to thank you guys for supporting us. We want to thank you guys for watching. We do ask that you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, because we're going to be here, me and my man Manny C, every single week to chat it up with y'all and talk some sports. Manny, talk to your people, man.
Guys, again, thank you again for everything for tuning into the channel. Please, like again, like how Adam said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Wanted to wish from me and Adam, we wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. This will be our last show for the year, as you guys know. And next week we are gonna start a brand new 2024, brand new year. Hopefully more subscribers, more better content. Okay,
Absolutely.
guys, take good care, guys. Have a great week, and we'll catch you guys next week. Take care.
Yes. God bless. Be easy, my people. See ya.